All right, YouTube. So today we got a special guest, and we're going to be talking about sleep paralysis and awake paralysis. If you've never heard about awake paralysis, well, you learn something new every day. All right, so my story about my so I had a couple of sleep paralysis experiences my lifetime, but there's one that was really intense, and I only had a really intense sleep paralysis experience one time. So this was around 2020. I gotta say, probably 2020, about to be 2021. And I was out with my friends partying, and I was really drunk, and I came home really drunk, and I decided instead of going sleep inside of my room, I was gonna sleep in the living room on the couch. I had a really comfortable couch, so I left the TV on, and I was waking up really dehydrated, going back and forth to the refrigerator, drinking juice. I remember waking up multiple times doing that. And then the way I'm facing when I'm laying down on the couch is the direction to where I could see my hallway and basically like the other way down the hallway that's my front door. And the best way I could describe this is me waking up halfway asleep, halfway not, and seeing a figure standing right there in the hallway. And in my mind, I'm like thinking, is there someone that just like, broke into my apartment? Like, what's going on? I was confused, really confused. And then I hear my grandpa's voice, and he's supposed to be, asleep in his room. Usually has his door open. And he's saying, Ryan, is that you? Ryan, is that you? At least that's what I'm thinking he's saying, right? Well, while I'm looking at this figure standing and I'm hearing my grandfather's voice saying, hey, is that you? I try to speak. I try to like say something. I try to like say, I forgot what I was trying to say, but I was trying to say something. Like I was trying to respond to my grandpa, I think, but I couldn't. I couldn't get a word out. And then out of nowhere, I just snap out of it and I wake up fully awake and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And so I asked my gramps, hey, yo, were you just calling my name right now? Were you just saying my name right now? Like, did you see, like, what was going on? And he said, no, I was asleep the whole time. I wasn't calling your name. He's looking at me like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you're drunk. So that's my most intense sleep paralysis story. And the other times I had sleep paralysis, it was like just me waking up and just like feeling really like uneasy, like something was like, messing with me in my sleep. But it wasn't nothing intense like that. I didn't see no shadow figure or nothing. So that's my sleep paralysis story, the best one I have. And yeah. All right, so now my special guest has his sleep paralysis story he would like to share with us. So
I feel like I'm going on an interview. Alright, yo, fucking all I know is that when I had sleep paralysis, that shit was intense. Like, and it would be like all the time when I was a little kid. Fucking like all the time. I remember like I would like it'd be mostly like in the morning times, and then I would like wake up, but like my eyes would still wouldn't open and my body couldn't move, and then like I could just hear like in my room, and then like it would happen all the time. I remember like in the beginning stages of it, I always try to like shout, like I'd yell out for my grandma or something, cause so I remember I'd yell out for my grandma or something, you know what I mean, to try to like, but I was stiff, I couldn't move, my eyes wouldn't open, but like I could just hear, but it was just like panic, you know. But it happened so much, I learned to just kind of like what would happen would I would just have to like just wait, and then but it was this weird thing that always happened is like I would wait, and then like I'd hear like this wind in my room, like I'd hear it like swirling, and then I'd hear it like fly out the window, and then like it's weird like how precise it is. With like 30 seconds after like it flew out the window, I'd be able to like open my eyes, and like I got used to that, and then I would catch myself like in the sleep paralysis again, in that same concept, and then I learned how to like get out of it, like basically like I was just like I was like, all right, on the count of three I'm gonna like just jump, like so I count to three, and then I'd like just like kind of just like you're laying back, and I would just try to like just like give it all I got, and just fucking, and then I would get out of it like that, like boom. So yeah, every time I got in sleep paralysis, I learned how to get out of it. I'd count to three, and then I'd like jump, boom, and I'd wake myself out of it. It's just weird, but it was weird. I always felt like something was visiting me. What you call it? One thing I do remember as well, when I almost forgot how to breathe in sleep paralysis. I remember, I couldn't move, I couldn't open my eyes, but I would still be able to hear around me. And not only that, this time I was inhaling and inhaling, and it's like I forgot how to exhale. It was just a small panic for a minute, or for a second. It just felt like forever, but yeah, sleep paralysis ain't no joke, man.
And
Don't forget to like.
okay, so now for the next topic, we're going to be talking about awake paralysis. Now, this is something that I came up with naming it because it was basically like sleep paralysis, but it was when I was awake. And my friend here has the same experience, and he's going to share his experience after I share mine. And so, how this story goes is I was in the living room, right? And so I used to live in an apartment. My apartment, I had some roommates, and they'd be in the living room a lot, uh, playing video games, partying, whatever. And I was out there chilling with them. We were talking like it was really normal. Everything was normal, and then I go to my room for a second. I don't go to my room for that long. I'm probably in the room for probably like 30 seconds. And to give you a better idea, better visualization of what was going down, my room was dark. There's no lights on, and I think I went in there for a second to grab something, probably a lighter or just something that I needed, and I was gonna go back out. But right when I went inside the room, I had felt like I had felt really dizzy, but it was weird because it's like I wasn't dizzy, but I was dizzy. Then I was confused and I was paralyzed and I couldn't move. And then I felt a presence, a very strong presence of an entity that was very familiar. I've had encounters with this entity before in nightmares when I was a child, and I do believe that I had this same encounter with this entity when I wasn't in asleep, when I was awake. And so I was paralyzed, confused, and I just knew that there was something else in there in that room with me. And then I kind of had a feeling that it was trying to take over my body and possess me. And then right when I had that feeling, I just started fighting it. I just started fighting back. Like I was just like in spiritual warrior mode, and I was just like, I don't know how I did it, but I just shook it off. And when I shook it off, I walked back outside my room, and everybody in the living room was just doing their normal thing. And it was just like, you know, I didn't tell them what happened. I didn't explain to them what I just experienced because they wouldn't have even known how to wrap their head around the concept of what the hell I was talking about. So I just stayed quiet and I didn't really share it with anybody. I think I shared it with a few people, but I haven't really talked about this a lot. But this is what I call awake paralysis because it was pretty much the same feeling as my sleep paralysis. Paralyzed, confused, didn't know if I was awake or asleep. And yeah, that's my experience of awake paralysis. And I'm gonna do a video on this in the future with better clarity. Okay, so now I'm gonna let my special guest share his awake paralysis experience.
All right. After my buddy mentioned that concept of awake paralysis, I figured that like, yo, I think I've been through something similar to that. And like, so it was me and a friend, and she went to the restroom, and then I went into my bedroom, and I remember I was like smoking some weed real quick, and and then just the last thing I like remembered was like I came to like consciousness standing up in the living room, like staring at the couch, and I was like, what the fuck? I was so confused. And it was weird. I was confused. I was thinking like, yo, didn't I just like I felt like I just like passed out on my bed, but now I'm over here coming to consciousness standing up in front of the couch. Like, where was my mind at? You know what I mean? Like, yo. And I remember I sat down on the couch, and I hear the bathroom door open, and she walks in the room, and I forgot she was even with me. Like, my whole mind just like was in a reset. I don't know how to explain it, but all I remember was when she went to the restroom, I went into my bedroom to, I went to my bedroom and I closed the door and snapped into consciousness in the living room, like staring at the couch, like looking at the couch, and I was just confused. I felt like, because I don't know, man. I feel like I was just in like, I don't know if I went to sleep or not, but it was weird. And I think the part where I think I could I think I related to it was the awake paralysis was because I came into consciousness like standing up, looking at the couch. Maybe I was sleepwalking, but it was like really intense. I don't know how to explain that.
Alright, so we're at the end of the video. We thank you for tuning in and thank you for hitting the like button. We're gonna have more content on the way, and we're gonna do our top paranormal experiences Halloween special on October. And this is just the beginning. This is just the sleep paralysis and awake paralysis experiences. We have a lot more content and a lot more great stories and experiences and advice on the way. So tune in. Anything you want to say?
Man, if we're talking about scary stories and shit like that, man, I've been through some stuff like spiritually and all that shit. So tap in because we got some stories to drop.
All right. Cheers.